Hi. I was just about to turn my camera on and I was like, "Aw, I get to talk to my old friends." That's you guys. Welcome. So my name is DrCherylMeier and I'm a psychologist and a life coach so that I can see people all over the world. Because as a psychologist, I only get to work in my state. But I help people navigate through their spiritual awakening. And all of life is a spiritual awakening. So today I was thinking, let's talk about who are we and why are we here? I like getting philosophical and into the mystical and, not having black and white ideas, but having some semblance of an idea of why we're here and what we're doing. And so I just had like the most beautiful conversation last night with my friend. This guy, I won't say his name right now unless I accidentally say it. But he said he would come on with me and we could just talk. We were like, what if we had just videoed our conversation last night? He was skateboarding, I was roller skating, and it was so magical. But you can't always just invade that space if you're in a beautiful space with someone and just pull out a camera. So it's respecting the sacredness of that space too, and then just knowing that we can create that here with us, is you know oh, I have an angel card here. I'll pull it out of, this is my wallet right here. I have an angel card in my wallet. All right. And I got in a car accident the other day, and then I was looking for the AAA card, Automobile Club card, and I saw this. And so here's the back. Like, forgive us, people who wrote this, that I don't want to take other people's stuff, but I'm going to read it, right? I mean, they meant for us to carry it around like this. All right, so it says, prayer to my guardian angel. And even if you don't believe in angels, if we're all made out of vibrating energy, then setting good intentions is like, just because you can't see, it's like you can see my hand moving. But if we looked closer and just looked at atoms, there'd be all this space in between the atoms. It's mostly space. We just happen to be able to see it. And so now they have plants like Dr. Emoto, Emoto, I think, did all these studies where there were these plants and they were sitting there. And when you sent, you said, I love you and I love you, or I hate you, or whatever, you could do it to water as well. And he would flash freeze the water, and there would be different symbols. So they'd look like snowflakes and all these beautiful images when you sent love. And when you sent hate, it would be just chaos. Like there wouldn't be a pattern that looked beautiful. It would just be. And so we're made out of like 80% plus of water. So even sending the good intentions of this, even if you don't, I'm not going to say what you have to believe. Let's just read it for a second. I don't have to explain everything. All right, it says, and before my grandmother passed, she asked me, hey, if you find that picture of the angel and the two children on the bridge, can you bring it so we have it in our house? And it was a long time ago, so I didn't even know what to look up, if I could have looked it up, or how I could find it for her, because I was like a kid, I was little. Anyway, so then I found it years later. I'm like, this is the picture my grandmother was talking about. So that's why I carry it in my wallet sometimes, or most of the time. It says, I greet you, my holy guardian angel, and I honor you. Please pray for me and pray in my place during those times when I find it so difficult to pray. Deign also in the divine light to meet with the guardian angels of those whom I love the most, and all those with whom I am spiritually united, to enlighten them, to protect them, and to guide them. All right, so like even Christ said, their guardian angels can see about little children, and a little child, there's little children, literally, obviously we were little children at once, and there's also a new initiate into an awakening experience, a spiritual awakening is called a little child. And so like when Christ says, when you give a little child, or when you give someone a cup of water in my name, water is truth. When you give them true truth, you're giving it as unto Christ. You're giving unto Christ. It's like we get to give back. When you give, it says better for you that a millstone be tied around your neck than you lead one of these little ones astray. When they talk about little ones, there's a whole esoteric, and esoteric is not it's not some dangerous thing. Any of this can be dangerous, it's like, we had a forest fire. Well, we started a fire one time at my grandma's house because we were burning trash. I don't know what we were burning, right? But she's among all these trees, my other grandmother. It was the guardian angel. And one of the trees, the branches caught fire. And it was a small town we were visiting. And we knew if we called the fire department, it would cost $200. And we were like, let's not do that. Let's figure out how to stop this fire before it spreads all over and like burns everything down, because there's a lot of dry leaves. It was pretty dumb of us. Like, I'll blame it on my brother, but we don't have to blame anyone. All right, so we were thinking how we could get that branch, because the hose wouldn't spray high enough for that. And so someone thought of, my grandfather's shotgun, So it's like, a gun can be a dangerous thing, but a gun can also, it could save lives, and it could save my grandparents' whole property in their house, because we shot that branch down and then we hosed it down with the hose, And yes, we could have called the fire department and got them out with their big hose, and I don't know where they'd even connect to the water there, but we were connected. So maybe, I don't know. But all it's saying is, my guardian angel can go out to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people and be like, hey, watch this new video, because we're going to learn about what life is. So how I teach is, I always try to teach in a way that is thoughtful and uses wisdom, but that also doesn't alienate people of different religions, because I don't care to do that. Like, why would I want to do that when, you can get some deep understanding about why you're here without that. So, but I never want to water down what I know if I've heard it from a certain religious tradition. So some of what I was reflecting on, and this is what, I'll just say his name, Pearson and I were talking about last night. It was so magical. It's like time stopped. I was on my roller skates. He was on a skateboard, and we just love each other as people. It's just pure love flowing between us. Like, I didn't know he was going to show up. We just show up when we show up. And it's like this connection, like we've known each other for forever, I wish every friendship could be like that. It's so loving and satisfying and magical. And, maybe if we hung out in more circumstances than that, like, problems would arise, but he's such a sweet soul. I can't imagine problems happening, but whatever. We'll just take the conversation as we had it. So he was asking too, like, why don't you explain it in this kind of way? And I was telling him, because, I don't want to, oh, I know what you're talking about, cussing, because I was just like, some people will be really offended if I just start talking freely, cussing and everything, and it's a lot easier to do that kind of thing. So I restrain myself, but I don't want to restrain the flow of the conversation that we're having here, But why are we here? So what we were talking about, oh, that's the word that's coming to my mind. It's a Cherokee Indian. I don't know if it's Cherokee, but I'm part Cherokee Indian, and I met with a Native American Christian shaman who went through the dark side to come out the other. The way he described it is that he was asked to go into it. I don't need to go into that, but I understand so much more. I only spoke with him, I spoke with him off and on over email, but I met with him for 3 days and I asked him every question I had to ask. And his name was Red Elk, To my ex-husband, he looked like what Yoda would look like to you, just like, oh my gosh, that, not to you, but to someone else from the outside. Who's that short green man that has nothing to say, but like, hate is the beginning of anger, and anger is, like, judge me by my size, do you? There is no try, do or do not. I was in a bar on a couple of nights ago when my friend's 80s band was playing, and I didn't take a picture of it, but there was a quote from Yoda up on the rafters outside, because I was sober, so I was observing all of this and watching it. There's a quote from Yoda, and it was do or do not. That's it, There's another quote that was really good. When you see these things and you think, oh, I'll definitely remember this forever, and it's like, I can't even remember what it was. But anyway, so he just looked like a foolish man, a dumb old man to my ex who didn't have the spiritual eyes at the time or wasn't awakened to that to see. I'm not judging him. I'm just saying, he rolled his eyes, and like many people could roll their eyes at these videos. It's fine. Even Christ said, those who have eyes to see, see, and those who have ears to hear, listen to what I'm telling you. He's saying, listen on another level, listen on a higher level, or it will just look like nonsense, because our ego minds are limited. I have a bottle cap here. I do that, Our minds are like these bottle caps. And so they think that's all there is. And when we have, here's my ephemeral, nails again, when we have this consciousness that we're connected to the divine, we're connected to God, it doesn't comprehend the more. It's in this world of duality. And so what I was going to say is that Native Americans have this phrase called Mitakuwashin, and they say we're in the mind womb of God. We're all made out of the godness, out of God particles. And in the old times, like let's say if there was Lemuria and Atlantis, which I've had weird visions, and I was drawn to some books about it a long time ago, and I was like, wow, this seems like, like I grew up in Dallas. It's like if someone was just describing Texas, it just seemed like stuff I already knew. And Plato said that everything you learn is just a remembering. It is a remembering. There's a butterfly outside. It's a really beautiful monarch one. Maybe yeah. Look. Oh, good. It flew in the camera. Thank you. I'm pretty private, so anyway, love to the butterfly. Butterfly is this transformation, It's not a transformation from one thing to another thing. You see, the caterpillar always had in it the coating, the substance within it, and the coating, the DNA coating, for it to become a butterfly. It just has to wrap up in the cocoon and has to develop the wing strength to break through and come out as this caterpillar that can fly now, that has wings, that always had the capacity in them. So okay, so let's go back for a second. Because when I was talking with Pearson, you know, it's like he wouldn't per se say that he believes in a God, but I'm like, but you know the word ephemeral. Of course you believe in God, you know? And so we have these funny conversations. I'll have to like let that play out as it plays out one time when we get to actually talk on video for this channel. But if you, what you do is you can experience your own isness. So, oh yeah, what I was saying is from a long time ago, they used to call it, you know, mother instead of father, and daughters, you know, or it was more matriarchal societies. And so they honored women and the intuition that we have. I heard this woman named Erica, describe it once, like men are like 3 straight lines, you know, and women are like 3 wavy lines, you know. And so men are more like from point A to point B, and women, we have like the spirit about us and this warmth and this love, and men have the love too, but anyway, if we all came from the singularity again, so it's like I do this, like, look, oh, it looks like we're all different people. And then it's like, oh, look, we all came from the one, you know? And so if we all are made in the image and likeness of God, and if you can understand it, you know, like the Native Americans say, we're all out of the mind womb of God. We are made out of the same substance of God. Then how can we be creative here and have creative powers? Like God is creative, you know, divine love. I call God divine love because we get so mixed up with the word God because people have misused the word God and they've limited it. Once you put a word on it, right? Eckhart Tolle talks about that, you know. It's like, imagine if you go up to a tree and you don't label it as a tree, you just experience the isness of that which we call a tree. Or he says, don't tell a kid that's a carnation, that's a rose, you know. Even that's a flower. Just go up to, I'm going to walk out to the roses. All right. I got to check sometimes first because I know I'm protected. But I'm always going to look out for taking care of myself because I sometimes can be too open, right? I can explain that another time, but let's go to the roses. I'll just keep it a short frame. Smells so good. Okay, so like, let's say we're not labeling these. There's one that grew really tall, and it was just a bud the other day. It's just, oh, here's the butterfly. I'll see if it gets back in frame. Oh, the ray of sun. A ray in the sun. A stick, a stone. It's the end of the road. It's a little alone. Sliver of glass. It's life, it's death. I love that song. Anyway. Music is so beautiful. It's like a muse, you know. It takes us into a place that is like higher than words, right? I'm putting the lock back in. Oh, let me tell you how my house works. All right. I have a painting of roses right here by Akiana Krameric. Reda told me about her, right? Look, I don't want to give away hers because it's beautiful and She deserves, I paid for it from her. Anyway, Red Elk has had visions of Christ, and he said, oh, that one 9-year-old that painted that picture of Jesus when she was like 8 or 9, he's like, that's how he saw Christ, you know? And he's like, oh, when he smiles, it just like warms your whole beingness, you know? I loved hearing how he described that, you know? Anyway, back to your isness, right? Because I'm not telling people what to believe, but I want us to understand more of it. If we have the opportunity to understand, then let's understand it, you know, so that we can live in more truth and more alignment with who we are, so we can love more deeply, so we can be creative and create in this world and be more productive and draw our consciousness and our attention away from the things that distract us. So like, if you look at that flower out there, we didn't stay long with it, but just look at it and experience the isness of that thing, that if you experience the isness of yourself, you look at who am I? Imagine being deep in yourself. Sit in what Eckhart Tolle calls your deeper eye and feel who you are apart from your name, apart from your skin color, apart from your gender, apart from your religion, apart from your age. This isness that is you. When you get in the present and you're present with yourself, it's like, that's what was so beautiful last night about me interacting with my friend Pearson. My other friend skated up and she's like, I didn't want to interrupt you guys. I know you hadn't seen each other in a long time. And, you know, she could just feel like there's this depth of presence that we had with each other, where it was just like timeless space of just being, you know. I had a friend once that was like, I could have just stayed there forever, you know, in that moment with you. And I think they meant it at the time, but I don't want to go backwards in time and dwell on that. But it is like that. It is like that. It's like when that's how I felt all the time with Elliot, you know. It's like we just had a resonance where it's like, it just felt so freeing and so non-judgmental, and so much that person's comfortable being in their soul self and in their isness, and you're comfortable, and you don't have to explain anything. You can just be in your isness next to each other, you know. I was saying that, I can't remember if it's in one of our videos or in one of the teaching videos, and I want you guys to know, not that I have to justify anything at all, when I'm away from my YouTube channel, I'm really or my Instagram or whatever, I'm really committed to, I want to keep putting out a video a day as much as I can, or a video every couple days, as I'm called, as my intuition tells me, as I also need rest sometimes. But most of the time when I'm gone, I'm in like 12-hour classes all day, every day, or I'm hiking or on these spiritual trips that I go on where I'm learning more about and experiencing more about who we are and how we are here. All of it, I look at, it's like, I do it all to enrich us, because I want us to all be free. And it's just my passion and my mission, and whatever you want to call it. It's just what I love. And so any of my videos reflect this. If you want to watch any of my old videos, if I don't happen to be posting that day, then, and if you're on Instagram or somewhere else, then you can look on my YouTube channel. It's just my name, DrCherylMeier, Meier, not how they caption it. And look up all the YouTube videos you could ever want. They're all on my channel. So like them and share them and subscribe and all that stuff too, because it helps grow my channel. And I just have a feeling like so many more people can be healed and wake up to who they already are. You don't need to learn anything else. You are this. So all I'm teaching you is what you already are. That's what Pearson and I were experiencing, our isness, just hanging out. I said, it's like the sun shining through us. And then, it's like you have one stick on fire and another stick on fire. And when you put the two sticks together, that's so funny. It's like a Hall & Oates song, of course. I'll have to do a teaching on that maybe, but like the candle feeds the flame, it's like a bigger fire, and everyone likes a good beach bonfire. We were by the beach, it's like, it just has this warm feeling. And so it's kind of like when I was with Elliot was just a fire and I was a fire, and our fires together just felt so warm together. And even, look, I'm looking at this journal. Oh, this is Arthur Rackham. I ordered this actually. But it reminds me of Van Gogh a little. Van Gogh said, I'm like a fire, and I wish that people could come get warmed by me. And the whole rest of the world was later on in his life. But right now, most people would look at him like he's strange or something. It's really important that you believe in who you are, not because I'm telling you this, but because you are this spark of God. You are this essence of Godness. And yes, when we're identified with our outer personality self, like if I thought I was only my clothes that I have on today, then it's like I would be limited in my understanding of who I was. I would, if my clothes got dirty, I would think that I'm dirty. If they got holes in them, I would think that I have holes in me, If I saw them as lacking in some way, I would think that's me. When I go back into my soul self and remember, I'm not my clothes. I'm me. I am this isness. I can be plugged into God. That's a whole nother video about being plugged into God. I came up with an acronym. Did I share that with you guys? I can't remember what plug stands for. I shared it with other people. I think I shared it. And so what I've been doing is I keep getting inspired to sing these songs, and then I'll go on my Your Soul Songs page, Your Soul Songs, and then I do a teaching there, and people can pay for that. That way I can make a living. Imagine, because I'm still work at my office, but I've left it for the most part to do these teachings and to do this online, so that what I know can get out to the masses, and healing can come instead of only seeing 20 people in a week at my office, like 20,000 people could get the same kind of healing in their lives. It's just all my psychological knowledge as a psychologist for the past 20 years is getting, and the spiritual knowledge, because I've studied and I've lived it and I've meditated and everything. It comes through these songs. And so you find your soul path in these songs. But that's where I shared, I can't remember which song I was sharing what it means. But imagine though, and I'll wrap this up, that, you are this consciousness and you can be plugged in to God. And imagine if you lived your life, like if I have this lamp right here and I never plug it in, then it's like, what's the point of just this lamp sitting here? It's not shining like it's meant to be. You are meant to be shining and you are worth love. I met someone else yesterday and I just told him, I'm like, you're worth more than this. I don't want to judge him where he was. I just could see it, And I saw right through that, because I live in my soul as best I can. And I'm like, you're worth more than this, what you're giving yourself. So the more you know who your isness really is, the less you're in fear and worry and all these ways of thought that they teach us how to think in this world to keep, maybe because they're afraid to go to this higher understanding. Maybe they, identify themselves as like the clothes and the bottle cap. And so all they can do is figure out how to control all the other bottle caps or something. Whatever they're doing, we don't have to worry about that. If that's some other part of us or what it is, we have the chance to wake up. We have the chance to live a full life, to connect with ourselves and with other people in your isness, which is so far beyond your clothes and your everyday experiences and how much money you have in your bank account or don't have, or what kind of car you drive, or what your job is. You are more than all of that. But it's like waking up to that wakes you up to all your higher purposes, all of what we are here to learn, to do, it's like we don't need to learn. When I saw the Atlantis book, I was like, oh, it just was like something I already knew, You are love, and anything that doesn't align with that, we can learn how to let go of that. I'm going to wrap this up so it doesn't get too long. But of course, I'm always talking about these things. So thank you for your presence. Much love.